I haven't drawn anything in a month, and I'm finally starting again today. Let's talk about some things that were stopping me and the mindset I used to get through the blocks. Perfectionism. This is a big problem when it comes to my creative process. I tend to be super hard on myself and my work and end up feeling like what I make isn't good enough to be shared because it isn't meeting my internalized standards. This is super damaging to my flow because it just makes me want to quit what I'm working on because it won't be good enough. I always feel like I need to study like 100 times before I could produce anything of value. My art varies drastically depending on which steps I add in and which I leave out, like references, warm-ups, lots of group breakdowns, etc. Because I'm heavily reliant on those things, due to the lack of knowledge memorization I have on the fundamentals, I know how much better I'd be if I mastered them, and I feel like everything else I do before that isn't good enough. I see the errors, but I don't know how to fix them. All or nothing mindset. This segues into the topic of all or nothing mindset. I tend to feel as though if I don't do it perfectly the first time and put my 100% energy into it, despite literally being burnt out and unable to put my 100%, it's not worth doing at all. Thinking like this puts me in this loop of being low energy, wanting to do something, but then giving up before I even start because I know the outcome won't look like my best work. Art style. I tend to get hyper-fixated on art style and attempting to find one that suits me in record time. The main reason I feel this push so strongly is because of the nature of the art I'm doing. Rather than individual illustrations, I'm working towards comic development, animation creation, and overall building a brand which requires a sense of cohesion. I would like all the drawings I make to look a certain way with one another, and with the vision I have in my head, as well as the feeling I want it to evoke, before I can make any progress. Because I know how little energy I have, and to use it to make a character sheet that I'm just going to dislike because it doesn't fit the criteria is super defeating. This leads to the doom scrolling on Pinterest, and after all of the resources are collected, you really have to study them in order to get the wanted result. But I'm burnt out, so the cycle continues. Taking on future burdens. Thumbnails, profile pictures, banners, watermarks, etc. I tend to factor in all of those things when I consider working on one small part of the whole. Because of this, I get super overwhelmed and burnt out before even trying to make progress. I see all that needs to be done for me to be able to reach the end goal, posting art for example, and it stresses me out. I just end up like a fish out of water, knowing how much flopping it would have to do to get back to the shore, and it just gives in and dries up on the concrete. Only drawing for school. Another major thing that has affected my ability to enjoy drawing, unfortunately, is art school. The grind was very grindy, and it was a lot of drawing because I had to, and overworking myself. When I finally got the chance to do art for myself, I spent 3 weeks straight 3D modeling instead. But more on that later, maybe. Go outside! Please go outside. It helps so much with improving creative flow and giving yourself a genuine break. You can only pull inspiration purely from your surroundings inside for so long. Anyhow, just do your best with what you can. Drawing a pile of poop is better than drawing nothing at all for months on month. Remember, you draw for you, and because you like doing it. You are there for yourself through the process, so really appreciate that process, and the fact that you made it through it. You tried, and you made something. Be proud of that. Remember that whatever it is and how it turned out, the fact that you did it is in fact good enough.